clicking the button, going live, pulling up the notes, maybe. Corley Moore, Firehouse Vigilance. It's weekly scrap number 99. My guest tonight is David Hinojosa. He has been a member of the Houston Fire Department since 2002, currently assigned to Tower 69 as the chauffeur. He has been with Community Volunteer Fire Department since 2004, where he has risen through the ranks and is currently assigned as a captain in the training division. I'm not going to lie, you had one of the best bios I have ever had the pleasure of reading, because you said stuff like under hobbies you had building props, destroying props, placing apparatus in places people say that's never going to make it. So David Hinojosa, it is my pleasure to have you as the guest of Weekly Scrap number 99. Welcome to the Scrap.
Well, thanks for having me. Still wondering, like I told you before, what I'm doing on this platform.
It's awesome to have you, man. I tried to have you on back in January, and the scheduling conflicts and the pandemic just kind of played hell with scheduling. So here we are 7 months later and finally getting it done. And dude, I am pumped to have you and talk to you. So did I miss anything in the bio? Anything you want to add?
No. Usually when I look up bios, everybody's got some awesome stuff in there, like they'll have a bachelor's degree or master's degree and all these FDC positions, instructors, and just, really great bios. So when people ask for mine, I'm like, oh man, I don't got none of that stuff. I like coloring books and writing poetry, and it's all just, a bunch of baloney. But
right.
So when you ask me for one, like that's what my bio is,
Dude,
I don't have none of those educational background or epic stories.
It was fun to read. It showed, and it showed a level of humility that I really appreciated. I really did. It was cool to read. Very exciting. I've met Adam in person, and you were like friends through social media, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to have you on here and actually get to discuss stuff with you. So right now I'm saying hi to everybody logging in. We got Keen. Tell me if I say your name wrong. I always have that caveat. Even especially with my guest, David. I've worked really hard to say Hinojosa right. So if I say it wrong, you can get the old knife punch to the throat.
Oh, mine's been slaughtered every which way.
All right, fair enough. He said, first time live watcher, excited to be here from Longview, Texas. And then Tony Nunez said, what's up from the 850? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, always good to see you, Tony. So here we go. Right out the gate. Let's talk about training. Right out of the gate, hit me with your training philosophy and why you are so passionate about it.
In regards to training, no matter what occupation it is, professional sport, you name it, training plays a huge role in what those people do. The NFL, for example, they put a lot of time and effort into getting their athletes to perform to the top tier level that they can. And that's just for a game where, no one's going to get killed. No one's going to lose all their belongings. Granted, those guys get paid millions of dollars, and they, worst day for them is they lose the game. For us, on our side, the worst day for us is either one of us gets hurt or injured, or the people we swore to protect, lose everything, or maybe even their lives. So if a agency or organization that plays a game, trains to that level, like, I feel like we should be doing the same thing also. And with my military background, training was a huge, huge aspect there also. So you cannot expect to win any confrontation with the enemy without, being faster, stronger, smarter than they are, better with your weapon. And that's how I feel about training. It's huge importance. And unfortunately, one of the organizations I do work for had quite a few line of duty deaths. And in order to prevent that from happening to anybody else, the one thing you can do is train and get better at what we're doing here.
Solid. No, I love the sports analogy, the military analogy. I can't think of a better. I'm trying to think of something that would be a better background as far as training for the fire service than the military, with a heavy emphasis on the way sports gets it done. And that's the crazy part to me. Like you said, they're not doing it with lives on the line. It's money on the line.
No, it's just a game.
Yeah.
Like, a great day for them is like, hey, they win the championship.
No.
There was a documentary we saw a couple of days ago here in class. The guys in the current cadet class. What was the name of it? I'm sure if Lopez is watching, he can maybe cite it for me.
No, he's
I
here.
can't remember top of my head.
We'll see if he'll throw the name out. But yeah.
So, but I'm not a big sports guy. I'm like the worst guy to invite over for a football game or any game for that matter. So, but the athletes on this show documentary, like I know who they are because they're famous. Everybody knows who they are. So they went through their backgrounds of how did they become at the top level of where they're at in their field. And they had a soccer player, Wayne Gretzky from hockey, who was an NFL guy, and it just had a lot of similarities in how they function. And they said themselves, hey, we're just playing a game. But one of the things I liked was Barry Sanders.
Right.
When he said he would lay in bed at night every night, and then sit there with a football in the dark in his room, chunking it up in the air and catching it. His whole objective was just to be able to determine where the ball is going to land in zero visibility in the dark, And so if he can do it with football, why can't I do that with the Halligan? So when I place a Halligan down, every time I put it down, zero visibility, I put it down in the same spot, the same position, or maybe on the other side, or, I know where it's at. So you close your eyes and pick up a tool without having to look at it. Like I want to know already what position it's in so I can, get after it and, shave off a few seconds here and a few seconds there and increasing your time, shortening down the time frame of getting to the scene of the fire or, forcing entry or whatever the case may be.
Love it, man. I love it. Adam said it, In Search of Greatness.
There you go. Yeah, In Search of Greatness.
And you have sent me, go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
So I found that movie and then I think it was on HBO or something. I didn't have cable, so I bought it on YouTube and I watched it like 2 more times that day. And then I just Googled it, see what other background I could find or other rabbit hole I could go down after watching that one. And they had a website and it was more like an educational aspect to it. So they had an instructor's packet. So you download the packet and one of the questions on there was, what is greatness to you? So it was a group discussion you would have with the class, or your team or your guys at the station. But just that first question, what is greatness to you? Like me personally, to this day, I still don't have an answer that I can say, here's what greatness means to me or my vision of it. But I mean, to be called the greatest in, whatever, firefighting or accounting or a doctor, whatever occupation you want to pick, that's pretty top level stuff for that individual to be called, the greatest.
Right.
No. So, but it had a bunch of other, great group discussion questions and related to, greatness.
No, I love it. I love the question. I love the question. And I can only see you posing that to a whole class of rookies saying, what is greatness to you? And the discussion you have for that.
Some of them had, some answers, but I'd say the majority of them, were probably just as stumped as I was. They're like, man, that's a pretty deep question, What is greatness to you?
No, that's one you can do like Barry Sanders. You could lay awake at night in the dark and sit there and think about, not necessarily a football, but just sit there and think, what is greatness to me? So
yeah. And Wayne Gretzky was pretty cool in it too. As a child, he'd sit there and watch hockey games, and with the pen, he would just, as he's watching the television, he's drawing where the hockey puck's going.
Wow.
At an early age.
Right.
So if he did that, for just 2 years, maybe, I'm sure he did it way longer than that, but just for those 2 years, and after drawing that, thousands of times on a piece of paper, when he got on the field or the ice rink or the hockey field, whatever you want to call it, he was able to already have, the highest probability of encountering the hockey puck at these precise locations.
Just the muscle memory.
And he did that on his own. That wasn't a coach. He was just his own initiative to,
awesome,
jot that stuff down.
And you're huge.
So on the firefighting, on the fire side, we got the data now. Like, where do you find all the victims at?
Right.
So we have all the statistics, that someone else has put into work for us. But the same thing applies. Where is your greatest probability of, encountering victims?
Right on. No, the data's there now. That's the best part about everything that Firefighter Rescue Survey, Brian Brush, Nick Ledeen, and all those guys, Brothers from Battle guys, and everything doing, man. They're giving us the tracing that Gretzky was doing, on his own. So we have that served up to us. Do you love documentaries? Because you've sent me like 2 or 3 just in our short friendship that you're like, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. And every one of them's been great.
Well, I got kids now, so I can't watch, Rambo and Predator all day now.
Right.
So what I can watch is, I guess I watch another documentary, or Nemo again.
Fair enough.
Documentaries it is, maybe they'll learn something too. But sometimes, when it's a good one that I really enjoy, that's, like kind of deep, I guess. They're like, oh, Daddy's just dumb, and, they split. So TV to myself. But usually one leads into another rabbit hole and to another rabbit hole. And
no,
but usually I see the relevance in the one I'm watching into what we do here.
No, absolutely.
So like the sports one is like, man, I think it compares greatly with what we do.
Solid. Joshua Paul Restweber says, this guy is great. He's about getting information out to the brothers. It's because of him I found out about other great instructors. I remember the interviews with legends of HFD. Thanks, brother, for sharing information.
Oh, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. One day when I have more time, I'll get back on that. But right now, time is not a luxury I have.
It's like time is a premium, apparently. So
Yeah.
Sean Duffy said it's going to be another great scrap. Hey, I'm rocking my shirt I got from you at the Revolutionary Fire Taxi Lake. Joshua said he asked the hard questions to get answers other wouldn't ask in training classes. I was with him in. Oh, that's nice. I like that.
You know, usually
go.
I'll go and no one answers a question. No one asks a question. And I'll sit front row because, you know, in the military, you sit in the back. Well, hey, guess what? High speed, come here. And you'd sit right in the front row. So, again, out of habits developed there, sit in the front row so you can absorb all the information and, you know, literally eye contact with the instructor as they're speaking. But I have no shame in asking the dumb question that no one else wants to ask, you know, hey, why are fire trucks red? And then, you know, they'll go into why they're red, and then everybody's taking notes. It's like, hey, man, you're welcome. You're welcome, too, because, you know, they didn't want to ask because, everybody knows now that you didn't know, you know, the details of that question or whatever. So, but now I'll ask questions all day. You know?
I love that. Awesome. Eddie Steele, Frontier Fool, says, David Hinojosa, the Houston Samurai, superior firepower and violence of action. Is that your quote or is one you pass on?
No, I forget what he posted this morning or maybe last night, but I commented on it. It was reference to a nozzle. I forget what the question was, the main post, but his comment was the smoothbore nozzle he prefers to use. You know, he said, for punching it in the throat or something. So my comment to him was, superior firepower and violence of action. So if you Google those two terms, military-wise, superior firepower world, you overwhelm the enemy with superior firepower. I got bigger guns and more ammo than you do, so I'm going to win. And the violence of action is, I guess an analogy would be, you get into a fight with somebody at a bar or whatever, and rather than waiting for them to strike first, you just, boom, hit them hard, fast with all you got.
Right.
And they won't expect that, and then pow, you win. It's over.
Deliberate.
So that's the violence of action.
Deliberate and intentional.
Yeah.
Nice.
Purpose and intent in everything you do.
Eddie was talking about the 15/16, he said. Is it the 15/16?
Yeah, so it was.
That was it. Okay. Here we go. The basics. I'm a huge. Okay, passing on failures. How important? You mentioned this in your bio, and again, I loved your bio, dude. So I just went through and picked out things I wanted to pick your brain on. But you talked about when you make a mistake, you like to pass on your failure so that others can learn. And dude, that's huge. I mean, go ahead and
that's what guys like. Hey, imagine if there was, like everybody was a rookie at one point. So you walk in the station, hey, what's up, Rook? And you're like, hey, sir, I'm glad to be here, all that stuff. But then they give you a book that the 15 rookies before you wrote down of everything they screwed up on, what they should have noticed to see the screw ups coming, what they could have done to prevent them, and what they're going to do to prevent them from happening in the future. So you already got like half of the mistakes already made, maybe more. There's a battle plan, put it in play. And then as you're going along your career, you add in, your mess ups and, the same thing. Like, what did I fail to do? What did I fail to see this coming? What did I fail to recognize from the event? And then what was my course of action to prevent it from happening again? And then you pass it on to the next guy. But if everybody did that throughout their career,
holy crap, yeah.
Over the course of 20 years, man, how much stuff would you have written down? So when I, will screw up or I got lost, made a wrong turn, or just, whatever the goof up is. So the only person hard on me is me. So after the fire, it's, hey, what'd you guys think? Oh, great job, man. You guys are full of crap. You're lying to me. And then go ask Captain and Chief, hey, great job, man. It's like, no. Dude, what's wrong? I screwed up. They're like, what happened? Oh, I pulled in the wrong driveway. Really? That's it? But still, it's a failure.
Right.
So identify it and take action. But
and I have a question.
So on my own, as far as sharing the failures, though, like, and no matter how small or how big is it, though, like especially with the cadet class we have going on right now, the previous one, and I'll tell them, hey, if we're talking about a subject, and then if I got a failure in there, here's a real world situation where, I did this incorrectly, And the same thing is like, here's what I failed to see or recognize happening, and here's how the failure, panned out, and here's what I should have done in the first place to avoid it.
Wow.
So it's like a little nugget of, hey, don't do this.
No.
And if you do it, try to avoid it.
And I know kind of the answer is ego, but how come that seems to be such an issue with people to say, hey, I screwed up and here's what I learned from it?
It's either embarrassment or pride or ego,
Yeah.
But it's like, again, the military side, we do after action reviews after, big and small missions. And the whole point is like, if you're in this, deployed area and your relief team comes in and, you'll shadow each other for, a couple of days or longer. And when they get there, they don't know what you know. So, hey, here's everything that's gone wrong with us. Here's what we've done to fix it. And then you pass off that information and they pick up from there. And then fast forward, 6 months or a year, when it's their turn to rotate out, the same thing happens. So what we're doing long term is increasing their probability of mission success,
right?
And it increasing the odds of them repeating the same failures.
Now, have you ever implemented the screw up journal? Have you ever? I hear that, man. I'm like, man, I wish I'd have started that 25 years ago.
Yeah, I got a little, I guess it's kind of like a journal, I guess, where every incident we'll make, I'll try to write down the, the address and what I did and, what the other guys did around me, the guys on my crew or apparatus I'm on, or if I see another failure happening on on the opposite of another station or whatever, I'll jot down what they did incorrectly. And usually, it rarely ever goes in a positive way. It's like, hey, what happened over here?
Right.
I know what I'm doing. God damn it.
Right.
I was like, hey man, I just asked a simple question, enjoy the rest of your night. But every once in a while, the guys, some guy will go, hey, why do you ask? I was like, well, I think it could have been a little faster if you'd just done this. Then it had that spark of interest. We're like, what do you mean? And then, hey, then we'll go
off to the races.
All out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go all out. But, it's rare. And then there's some that jump at the opportunity to, take that little nugget.
Awesome.
But that information goes both ways, though. It's not always just from the senior guy to the new guy or the rookie. Like I've had one, Danny Peters. He left Houston. He's now in Detroit. And he came to our station. We're going over the engine. And I was going over how to hook up to the catch a hydrant, and he kind of a little weird look in his face, Hey, man, you all right? He goes, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I go, something you want to say? No, sir. I go, dude, I can smell a lie, bro. Just spit it out. I go, you ain't hurt my feelings, man. He said, well, sir, we did it different back home. I go, wow. Well, I'm not saying you have to do your job, I was, hey, man, this could be the greatest thing since sliced bread. You're holding out on me. I go, so you're going to one-up me long-term because you have this nugget of information. I go, just do it. So he changes the load of the 5-inch short section. And I was like, holy crap. Why didn't somebody show me this 10 years ago?
Right.
It was brilliant. I'd never seen it in either department that I worked for or anywhere around there. So I thought it was epic, So then we swapped roles real quick, but he doesn't know it. I'm like, hey, watch me roll it up. Am I doing it right? And then of course that weirds him out that this guy's jacking with me. I'm the rookie, he's trying to prank me or something.
Right.
But no, it was just that good. So since that day, that's how I load the 5-inch because it made it a little faster.
Nice. Let's get my time here. I got a question from the audience for you, which is, go back and see who asked it. Sorry, we're getting lots of stuff coming at you. Robert J. Ortega said, what branch of service were you in?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
8 years.
8 years Army. Okay, we were taking guesses. A lot of us were guessing.
Everybody always thinks Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Because I guess with my cool haircut, but no, that line literally was too long.
Okay.
Wait 6 months.
That's what made it happen?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I went to the Marine Corps and they were like, well, I'll get you in 6 months. When do you want to leave? I'm like, tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
And then an Air Force guy, his was worse. I didn't try the Navy. I was like, F that.
Right.
I'll be floating out at sea. Something just touched me. But the Army recruiter was like, hey man, 7 days. I'm like, come in, let's do it.
Okay. Well, we were all guessing. They were guessing Marine in the chat, so that was it. I'm guessing it's the intensity combined with the haircut. Robert, he said, "Egos eat brains." Great quote. Eddie Steele said, "Wish I could have a second shot at every fire I've ever been to," which was from Rich Anderson quote from San Antonio. Chris Wolf said, "Own your mistakes. We can't learn from them if we don't talk about them." Jim Scoggins threw in, "Weak leaders don't want others to know their failures. They want to come off as infallible. the best advice he ever got as a new leader was, you will make mistakes, own them. So I love that.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes. There's not a leader that's never had, made a mistake. They wouldn't be a good leader if they didn't make mistakes.
Absolutely.
So every awesome firefighter, or officer, or, whatever rank they are in the fire service, like, you're like, hey man, that guy's badass. If like that guy screwed up a lot, just like everybody else. But for some reason, we usually, especially if you're a young guy in the fire service, you place those people in the fire service that are that caliber, up on a pedestal, and it's like watching, any professional sport, like, oh, yeah, I want to be in the NFL too. I have no idea how much work that guy put in, for umpteen years already, just from to be on the show now that you're watching every Sunday.
Right.
You don't get to look behind the curtain. All you see is like, oh, that guy's so awesome,
Right.
The same in the fire service, you run across that firefighter with that captain, like, dude, I'll be like that captain when I grow up, it's gonna be awesome. I'll be a badass just like him. But you don't know, all the screw ups he had, all the times he got written up for bad calls, and all the things you learned the hard way. All you see is the end result,
No, absolutely, dude. That's such a great lesson, and it's cool that you're willing to share that lesson. Sean Duffy said, making mistakes is the only way to truly learn. Embrace the mistakes and teach the lesson to others so they don't make the same ones you did. Own it. No shame in that. If you're not failing, you are not trying hard enough. And then Robert J. Ortega said, thank him for his service. So 100%. I do mean that. No sarcasm.
Man, I feel a little guilty about that, really. I was talking about this earlier today, and the guy goes, why do you feel guilty about it? I go, I don't know. It's not almost guilt or just odd about it. Thank you for our service. I go, had I joined the military out of patriotism or follow my father's footsteps or whatever, like an honorable, noble reason. I go, but that wasn't me. I just wanted to get out of Dodge. Self-preservation was more what it was like. So it was a bunch of accidental decisions. Joining the military and then getting out and joining the fire department. So none of them were. There was no flow chart like, oh, I'm going to do this and this.
Right.
This would be awesome. Like, no, it was just.
I feel like that's a lot of our lives is accidental decisions that we've, if we're lucky, somehow have made it work out to where we're at today and learn the lessons along the way. So I completely empathize with that.
Hey, but in regards to making mistakes, though, what I tell guys is as long as your mistakes or decisions that end up being mistakes, as long as they're made with good intentions, I go, that's fine. I go, but if you make a mistake, though, like, hey, we're first in, hey, go left. It's supposed to be right. Just go left real quick. And, you're intentionally going the wrong way because you don't want to be first in. Mm-hmm. So those kind of mistakes, those are not forgivable. They shouldn't be allowed. But the ones where, hey, I legitimately made a mistake. Kids were up all night. Puking all over me and the wife. Or I was halfway asleep. It won't happen again. But your intentions were good. If you truly had the intentions of being first in or doing a good job, you just had a bad night with the kids or whatever the excuse may be. But we're going to make them at some point in your career. But as long as your intentions are positive, for the welfare of the guys or the team or the mission, those are the ones you're going to learn something good from.
All right. Howard Reinwald said, my man. So Chief chiming in. He's a fan.
What's up, boss?
Kelsey Trotty said, dude looks like he could destroy a wall just by looking at him. He's not even given his mean mug yet. So trust me. Eddie Steele says, and this is getting some response here, so I want to hear about it because I don't know this. Eddie Steele says, ask him about his engineer's toolbox and why.
It's just a big bag of tools. I sarcastically call it my purse, my EO's purse. And it just has a little bit of everything that I've at one point either, got to a situation where like, man, it sure be cool if I had a tool to get this squared away. So that bag is slowly getting a little bigger and a little bigger over time.
How big is it?
It's like a Husky 20-inch bag, open top.
Okay.
And it's like a magic hat. More shit comes popping out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Nunez says it's pretty epic. I spent like $80 on a lot of those things after I heard him talk about it. So,
a lot of stuff came out, not necessity, but I never enjoyed when we go somewhere to help, grandma off the floor, and guys kick the door in. In a low income area, that's even worse.
Right.
Man, what'd you do that? What'd you do that for? Man, it's you gotta get in there. I go, bro, you could have just waited. We could have popped the window or forced the door the correct way. You blew out the entire door jam with your size, 12 and a half foot. Like, now you got to call somebody. I hope you call somebody to come fix the door for her.
Right.
But if not, who's going to do it for her? It's already low income. You blew out the door. It's not a nice neighborhood. Like things ain't looking too good for her just because you wanted to Chuck Norris the door. So from that, I started getting into lock pulling and bypassing doors and everything that was going to end with not a call to her son at work, seeing some jackass fireman kick the door down. He'd come out, leave work, and then hopefully he can come fix the door.
Right. Patch it up so they don't get all their stuff stolen.
Yeah.
Kelsey Trotty asks, "What all is in it? Can you overview?" No, not really.
I got some, of course, I got some webbing and carabiners in there. I got a few sections that are about 12 feet. They're stretched out totally 12 feet, and they got loops inside that are big enough for your gauntlet gloves to fit in there. But they also got carabiners at the end of that. That I'll pull 5-inch, out of the road, or try to take the kink out that it's in there. Hard lesson learned. I was like, I'll just pick it up. We're going to pick up the 5-inch, yank on it, and it folds right there where my fingers are at. It becomes a horrible Chinese torture device where I can't get my fingers out. I'm just like, it pops out. My gloves are still there. Fingers all won't. So that was a hard lesson. So, got that. The same piece of webbing, use it to tie off ladders because, I got other stuff I got to go do. So I don't get stuck there footing the ladder, waiting for the guys to come back down or go back up. I got other small pieces of webbing that are about a foot and a loop with the carabiner on that. I'll use that to tie off a chainsaw and attach it to my SCBA waist strap so I can go up the ladder with, 2 hands. And you get to the top side, hey, pass me a chainsaw. Oh, man, I would, but it's tied off to me. Excuse me. You go to cut.
Nice.
So it frees up, both hands, and then you can get with the chainsaws. But then Captain State just guys, what if something happens to you? Well, just press the SCBA buckle release and, pow, it just drops out and, continue. That same piece of webbing, drag victims, tie off charge hose on handrails going upstairs. I got a Rex puller. I also have a garage door opener. It's like it's like a Slim Jim kind of, but it's real narrow. And it has like a little fish hook at the top. So at the top of the door seal, where your structure meets the garage lip.
Catching the release?
It's super skinny. It just slides in there. Pops that open. I got a bunch of wedges in there, aluminum wedges, for forcing doors open as well, but also for anchoring off the ladder again. Find a crease in the sidewalk or up against the structure where the slab meets the foundation and, buried in there, and carabiner and webbing tied off. I got some Sharpies. We run on the backside and, kill the breakers or cut anything else off, like what was already off. I'm not intelligent enough to go, okay, I got it. An arson investigator gets there, it was off. One of the black switches, I don't remember which one, So before I kill it, I'll just, put a little X by it. So when they show up, I can tell them specifically what was off or on.
Nice.
Multiple victims, like a big car accident or, multiple shootings or whatever. You get a lot of information to jot down. So I just pull the Sharpie out and start writing everything on their shirt or on the stretcher they're on. I got a Ramset gun. If you don't know what that is, it's the it has a 22 caliber blank in it.
Okay.
And it pretty much fires nails into concrete.
Right.
So if you wanted to add a room in your basement, for example, you got to lay down the stud in the ground. Well, bam, that drives it through the stud into the concrete. But I use mine for blowing out deadbolts or locks, padlocks, or really rusted 9-1 gate.
Is there a good? Is that something I can YouTube and find out how to use a Ramset to?
Yeah. Well, it's the locksmith attorney, I think the page is called. Okay. Or just Google it, Ramset gun and lock busting.
Yeah, I got a Hilti in the garage. I was like, 22 caliber Hilti gun. I'm gonna go say.
Trying to experiment with it and figure out how to can bypass the deadbolt. So it has a piston that shoots out that drives the nail forward into the structure. That piston doesn't come out very far. So when I put it in the keyhole, thinking I would just like a No Country for Old Men, and
Yeah.
the lock goes out that side. Well, that didn't happen. All it does is smash the cylinder in there about halfway, and then they can't even turn the lock now with a screwdriver. It's just totally screwed. So I shaved down the barrel a little bit so more of the plunger will come out.
Okay.
So now I'll just put the barrel directly over where the two screws are at that hold the deadbolt together.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get the keyhole and
The two bolts.
from the inside. Yeah, so from the outside side, just pow, one on one side, reload, one on the other side, pow, and then the deadbolt just splits open.
Nice.
On a regular padlock, just, you got the chain, 2 chain links, and you got the padlock hanging down here in the bottom.
Right.
Just put the grabs on that and boom, and launch it right off. Definitely recommend some eye protection.
Okay. No, I love it, man. Anything you can use when you can discuss it in caliber. That's what makes it happen, man.
Yeah.
So awesome.
I'll get a belt fed one. That'll
Now,
be pretty awesome.
Does it matter on the charge? Do you use the higher charge on the 22s, or you use the lower charge, or is that?
I get the highest one I can get at Home Depot.
Okay.
Which is 22.
I know they're colored, but I'm not sure. Like orange is the biggest one. Or
Yeah, I
whatever.
think the red one is the highest one, but there's a 27 caliber.
Love
Excuse
it,
me,
man.
I don't got that one though.
Yeah, okay. So, David Pruitt said, in addition to his book list, add what's in his toolbox. Amazon and Home Depot, here I come.
I think the one thing that from that bag that usually gets a lot of oohs and ahs is you got a mechanical grease pencil. Do you remember those school China markers you had to peel back?
Yeah.
So, this is a mechanical one, just twist it. More of the body portion comes out. So if I'm driving the engine, I start marking down, all the pressures and who's where on what line. This wasn't my original idea. I didn't make it up. I went to I can't remember the name of the Fools group in Austin. They had a free event, so we went and they had a pump ops troubleshooting section, and that's what they were doing. So, just for example, you charge first cross leg 150, so you just trace over the needle that says 150. Then another crew comes up, they take a second line, that's 150 also. But on the first line, it's a 150, the other one's 150 also. But when people start screaming for water pressure or they've lost pressure, you can just look at the gauges and see if everything's where you left it at. And if there's if they're screaming for water pressure, for example, lost pressure, and you look at the gauges and they're both identical, like they haven't moved, your intake's still good, so why would there be a problem between you and the nozzle?
Right.
So usually that if you bump it up, let's say 25, just give him 175 now, and he's still kind of griping about loss of pressure. So now you got a kink in the line.
Right. Somewhere in the line.
So you're able to troubleshoot it. You go the other route where he says lost pressure. You look at the gauge and now it says 100. You're leaking air somewhere.
Right.
Not air, I'm sorry, water.
Yeah.
So either you got a busted line or. So you're able to troubleshoot it quite a bit. When they charge the hydrant, you get your initial intake pressure. Most of the time, I think guys just stop at 20 just because that's the go-to number. Dennis Aguirre has a great podcast that explains that in way greater detail than I could ever in regards to why 20 PSI is the magic number to stop when your residual pressure is 20.
Right.
But, when I tell guys, hey, if you are at 20 and, that's a go-to number to stop at, they say, hey, Mayday, charge the RIT line. And hey, I can't. I'm maxed out. I go, how's that going to end?
Right.
Not good for that guy that pulled the Mayday. Or, hey, the exposure over here, charge this other line. Oh, I can't. I'm maxed out. So now the fire went from a regular apartment fire to, having a city block burning down.
Right.
Because you didn't know the number. You didn't pay attention to it. So when they charge the line, like if it's the, master compound gauges, just trace over it real quick. But, once the engine RPMs adjust, to the pressure intake, so maybe 65, for example, and then it, comes back down to 50. But, your initial intake was 65, though. So now you can make a better decision on, how much more you have left to flow.
No, absolutely.
So that was with the Alamo. I'm sorry, with the Fools in Austin. So what I added to it was writing down who's on that line. And so on the first line, you can say engine one's on there. They went to the alpha side interior. So I just put, engine -1 and then an A. And then the second line, I don't know, they got into the courtyard or something, jot that in there. Excuse me. So as the incident progresses, if it was one that happened pretty quick, and the chief gets there at the last minute, there was nobody really keeping track. And you had the mobile command or, initial incident commander, and then some close Mayday. So everybody does the PARs, electronic PARs, verbal PARs, but Chief's not going, hey, where's engine 4?
Right, you have it right there.
No one knows where they're at.
Right.
He just pulled up. So at a minimum, worst case scenario, instead of doing laps around the building or the apartment complex, at a minimum, as the guy doing all that stuff, I can say, engine, 5 to command. I go to the last known location I had for engine 4 was, to the 3rd floor, going to check for extension in the attic or whatever.
Right on. Dude, Eddie Steele said pump panel crew accountability. That's dope.
Yeah, so you maintain accountability. You're the last check for those guys,
Yeah.
Especially if that's your crew.
Love it, dude. I love it. Eddie Steele, and he's been blowing up. I'm going to try and share this here. He's showing pictures of, I'm guessing he's showing me pictures of David's tool bag or the tool bag he built based off David's stuff. I'm not sure which it is, but I didn't stop to read it all. I don't know which way I'm swiping here. So Eddie, tell me if
that's mine. Yeah, that's mine.
So I don't know how bad you can see there we go. Nice. All right.
There's a J tool in there, like for the double panic doors.
Right.
You slide around there and pull back on it, and that pops it open. There's also one in there. I can't remember the name of the company I got it from, but you order it online. It looks like a screwdriver, and it's shaped like a J, except the end of the J it has like a Y formation kind of. So when you slide it in, you turn it back, and you pull that over the deadbolt handle. And then you turn the handle out here, and it turns.
Oh, wow.
It unlocks the deadbolt.
Yeah.
So that's in there also.
Dude, that's dope, man. It's like the bag of many tricks.
Cordless screwdriver, because I hate it going up to the commercial structure. You're unscrewing, 15 Phillip heads.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, this one's good. Go to the next one. God damn it,
Right.
So the cordless screwdriver just, done real quick.
Dude, very good. Eric Hand said, I went to the academy with that guy, 22 caliber breacher rounds. Someone said, here it is. Hugh Long said, I'm going to need bigger turnout pockets after listening to this. And Adam Lopez, was agreeing with Eddie Steele. They do things in Houston. That came from Tony. Luis Manuel Corona said, we call it overpumping in Houston. And then Jeremiah King, thank you, brother. He posted a video to the Locksmith Lawyer. He said this is one of many videos with the RAM set. So there it is as far as that goes. Okay, back on topic. Killing it. We got completely sidetracked with your toolbox, which is awesome, man. I think that's going to be awesome for a lot of people. Finding ways to execute a 2-firefighter job with just one day. This is something you challenge yourself with, or is it just because of short staffing, or go?
Well, it started off out of necessity, and then another thing that made it also something to search on, myself, or figure out how to do it was manpower, So if you have, 2 guys throwing a ladder, well, that's one guy we don't have inside, doing work or pulling slack or whatever. So in order to divide and conquer, we can get more bang for your buck, more work accomplished if, one person has the skill set to throw, a 28 extension ladder by themselves. So that guy can get it done.
Absolutely.
Out of the building, via second floor or whatever, then that frees up somebody else to go do something else awesome somewhere else, So increasing your combat effectiveness on the fire ground.
Love it.
And then as a rookie, ventilate the roof. I did the rookie thing, and I bought, chainsaws, pike poles, and everything. And I'm looking up the ladder thinking, hey, Rook, pass me the pike pole. They're like, hurry up. I just looked down and said, hurry up. I was like, all right, fuck, this is fucking great. So humped everything up there by myself, So from there, it's like, man, how am I going to get this done next time they pull this cart on me? So that's that little 1 foot section of webbing came about. And then once I started working at community, we only had, at that time, just the 3-man apparatus. So you got a driver, an officer, and then one guy in the back.
Right.
We only have 3 stations. So if you're lucky, everyone's in service, on a good day. But many times it was, one engine's at cardiac arrest, the other engine's at a, sick call. And then here we are, first in a working structure fire.
Right.
So, and, guy looks at me, hey, man, you got ventilation? Yeah. Normally there's, all the support guys come behind you, somebody's helping carry your chainsaw, another guy's helping carry the ladder. And it became literally a one-man show. So from the first experience with that, how do I make this, more combat effective, more efficient,
Right.
Speed up the process and, make things easier on myself. Otherwise you're that high speed guy with, 20,000 things on the ladder. So how to get a 2-3 man job done by myself that's, as fast and efficiently as possible.
So are you going to write a book called How to Be More Efficient as a One-Man Operation is from the mindset of the Houston Samurai? Is that a pretty good title?
For those guys that know me, I always, kind of joke about the Book of Dave,
Right.
There's, various chapters and the, one of them is the chapter of fuck ups, and it's just nothing but screw ups,
No, absolutely.
I just joke around about it. I have no intention of ever.
Dude, I think it would be great.
Book,
let me go. I mean, I'm a huge fan of books anyway, but yeah, absolutely. Just the stuff you're sharing here, I think it would be. I don't even think you need to write like a traditional book, just pictures and this is why, pictures and this is why. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be awesome, almost like a presentation. Hell, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
PowerPoint.
So let me know. Yeah, PowerPoint it up. Let me know and what I can do to make that happen. There we go. Ben Hepner, I got it right. Ben Hepner said he's a Swiss Army knife walking. Nice work, sir. Okay. Being first in and beating others to their first in. So this is something that came from your bio again. I love it. Would you say that you're a competitive person? Or are you a little bit intense?
I mean, I want to win. I don't care what it is, like who likes losing? Nobody does. Not even the losers. So if you want to win, like, well, guess what? We got to get out the house faster. I'm going to go at the speed of light now. Make those apparatus do things it ain't supposed to.
So I got to write down.
So then there's a little I don't know, pride or I think I'll say joy. It makes me happy when they say, "Were you guys down the street?" I go, "No, bro. We're at the house." No, bullshit.
Right.
I go, "You can go ask Captain, bro." Or, "Hey, you know what? Call dispatch. I'm gonna pull up the GPS for you." There's no way. Well, we'll see you at the next one.
Right on, dude. I love that. Yeah. I love that.
I want to get to work and do work. It's that simple,
Sorry, I got to write down sound bites so I can find them later when I'm making the podcast out of it. So anytime I stop and start writing, it's because, yeah. Okay. You work at two very different departments because you said you got 3-man apparatus, 3 stations at the community. And then you work for the Houston Fire Department, which is, I believe, the 4th largest fire department in the country. So huge metro, urban, suburban, everything you could want, industrial, everything you could possibly want, and then community. Talk to me about, you have a very unique perspective because you work at both. Talk to me about the differences, similarities. Go anywhere you want to go with it.
So early in my career, from that viewpoint or perspective, they're both night and day. But eventually it goes to a point where in my career where I started going outside the fence for training and, getting better at what we do. So once I started doing that, pretty frequently, other guys I was meeting, whether they were, in a large city or a rural department, like my perspective or my viewpoint in the, how they vary, started to change a little bit. Not a little bit, I'd say drastically. So, now my opinion of the two is, it doesn't matter, tactically what they do, yes, it's different, but overall in the fire service, it don't matter if you're, volunteer, part-time, full-time, like you'll get the same, horrible outcome, regardless of your, full-time status, part-time, volunteer. And I've seen both sides of either a volunteer rural department that can run circles around some big city guys or vice versa, So it comes down to the individual, how well or how good or how great they want to be, what we're doing, regardless of, your agency's category.
Sorry, writing down. I love that. I want to shift gears on you really, but not really. You interact with a lot of young recruits at community because you are the training captain there. What are your thoughts on the younger generations? Because that's a hot button topic over the last few years. What do you think of their values, the systems coming into the fire service? Just in general, what's your take on the younger generations?
It's like being a rookie. We were all rookies. We all know what it was like. So you can either choose to do the same crap you hated to the next rookie, or don't do what you didn't like. So in regards to the generation aspect, there's never been a generation that didn't bitch about the previous generation.
Right on.
So the generation that's bitching, you can either continue that badness of, look, and you guys don't know shit, back when I came in, insert whatever, or don't be that guy and help them get to where you want them to be at, So when I'm explaining something or, teaching or regardless of what it is, whether it's home with the kids or, we're talking about forcible entry, like, try to go into great detail of the why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with enough bananas, I'll teach a monkey how to pull a cross leg. He'll do it awesome, but the monkey won't know why.
Right.
But he's got it down badass though. And but the why and why he's doing it is, what makes the difference between a good and a bad firefighter, I think, in my opinion. Is you can be a robot. So I got, hey, you want to be a robot? You can be a firefighter.
Right on.
I
Right
go,
on.
I want to be a firefighter. Okay, then you need to get on location, make firefighter decisions, and do firefighter shit. I go, but if you want to be a robot, I will tell you specifically what to do, step by step, every single way along the line. I go, and I don't need robots. Nobody needs robots. And you guys can get out, pop the door open, and just, go do awesome. Get it done.
I love that. Go do awesome.
Yeah, because if I'm treating like a robot, one day when the programmer's not there, what's the robot do now?
Right.
It's just waiting for input. Like, no, I'd rather have guys that are like, I want to work with guys or have guys that are like, two crazy dogs on chains. And I'm like, no, take it easy.
Right on.
That's Lopez. He's a nice guy, but when it does come time, just click, take the chains off and have the trust in them. And they're going to take care of business.
Right on, dude.
Those are your dogs. You train the hell out of them. They're killers. They'll get it. And the same thing should be, in the fire side. It's like, hey, be that good to where, like, they don't tell you nothing. You just go.
Adam
and
said,
when you come back, how did they go?
Yes, get the feedback.
You may tell, what happened. And then, if it's the captain or the chief, they, all right, man, good work, man. Appreciate it. And that's it.
Dude, I love the let the dogs off the leash analogy, man. And the robots, not firefighters, and go be awesome. All of that right there. I'm fired up right now. Adam Lopez says, he has taught me more than I could ever ask for. He will do that for anyone, and I'm grateful to be able to work for him every day.
He's probably drinking.
Fair enough. He's getting emotional for you. Dude, I love Adam. George Robertson said, man, that is so true. Focus on why you're here, and there will not be any time to complain about anyone else, old or young. And then Chris Wolf said, love that. Robot or firefighter. Okay.
Yeah, you get to choose.
I love what you do with the Vigilant Creed, man. You are one, and obviously it's something I wrote. It's near and dear to my heart. I wear it every day. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me accountable to myself. But that video you sent of the community guys when they did that, we do this for others, push, train, learn, master ourselves, never easy, never quit, dude. He gave me chills because that's, like I said, I'm kind of biased. It's very near and dear to me. But talk to me about the Vigilant Creed.
So, everybody has a daily motivator, whether they know it or not. You wake up in the morning, you're doing this for your kids or your wife or your significant other, or you're doing it for your country, or you're doing it for your religion. Like, sometimes your daily reminder. And then you got the other spectrum of, like, the bad things. You're waking up, I'm gonna hustle today. Why? I need more meth. That guy's motivated, that purpose. That's his reminder. I go, well, without that, without a purpose and a direction of travel, like, what are you doing? You just wake up every day and I'm just here. You're no different than that amoeba floating in your water. All it does is consume energy, reproduce. No purpose, no motivation, no intent. It's just there. Survival of the species, for example. That's all it is. It's just keeping its own species alive. But with a daily reminder, though, with that stuck on your wall, like, you can't forget what you're supposed to be doing. You have a little doubt or you're feeling it down, hey, just read it over.
I love it.
That should remind you every day what your purpose is, what you should be doing, how motivated you should be, and that's why I liked it so much. And it was spot on for the fire service.
No, I use it for myself. Like I said, I try to wear it every day, and I use it myself because I'll be like in the gym. I'm like, well, that was a good enough workout. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll catch a reflection and I'll see it hanging there. I'm like, okay, let's get a couple more sets in because I can do more.
Yeah.
Just push, train, learn. you know. And
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I
But
love
you
it.
can apply it to anything, you know.
Oh, I agree, dude. It's
You
a
know,
mantra for
push yourself
me. So
push yourself a little bit further every day. Just give it a little bit more, a little smarter, a little faster, a little stronger. And if you do that for, hell, you do it for the first 5 years of your career, like I'm pretty sure you're going to surpass everybody around
you'll
you.
be unstoppable. No, there is no
Yeah,
doubt
because
about it.
most people just like you get to right here and like, all right,
Just coast.
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I've already done it all and seen it all. You know, I know everything.
Yeah.
And I tell for guys first day, I say, man, I don't know everything. I go, and if you do, hey, please, you know, start dropping some knowledge on me. Right? Another thing I remind people is like, hey, knowledge goes both ways. You know, if I'm the instructor, I'm not here because I know everything. I'm here just because I've screwed up more than you have so far. I go, so if you have something that, you know, you want to say or add to it, hey, I'm begging them, please share it with me.
Right on.
Share it with the group. I go, because it's like a respect, you know, it goes both ways. Same thing with knowledge, you know. That's nothing with the young guys nowadays. You know, they'll rookie, don't talk ever for the first year. Keep your mouth shut. You just listen. You know, but then later on, hey man, how does this Bluetooth thing work?
Right.
You know, so yeah, they know shit you don't know.
There's absolute
You know,
truth.
so again, knowledge goes both ways. So if you didn't like that crap when you're a rookie, like, don't do it to the other guy. You know, be the change.
Love it. Okay. This last question I got for you that I wanted to dig into, and what's the biggest leadership lesson you have learned? You know, both departments, your career since 2002, 2004. What's the biggest leadership lesson that you think you've learned that you try to pass on to the recruits and to those around you? You've already given a bunch today, so I know I'm digging.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty hard question though, in regards to leadership specifically, because you know, leadership isn't just at the station or just on the job. Like you have to first lead yourself. Does that make sense? You know?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Lead yourself to do the right thing. Go to the gym, work out. You know, go to work and you know check all your equipment we're supposed to. Like I don't need somebody telling me to do these things. Like I know I have to do it. You know, so if you can't lead yourself, how can you go forward from there and lead at others? You know, so lead yourself first, get yourself squared away, and make sure you're on point with what's going on, what you're supposed to be doing. So once you lead yourself, and there's others out there that are looking for that person that's already doing that, you know. So once you're viewed as that person, you know, that's, hey man, that guy's pretty squared away. Like you slowly start developing, you know, guys that want to come on board and, you know, be a part of what you're doing.
Nice.
You know, start asking questions and, you know, like your group, your tribe, your team starts getting a little bigger and bigger. And then, you know, it's how I know you're ruling the whole station, you know.
No, 100%, dude. I love that. Dude, that is solid. Okay. I always like to ask, is there a book or books that you think firefighters should be reading? It doesn't have to be a fire book. It can be any book in the world, but I like to ask people.
Right now, I got a bunch, but there's the one I favorite so far is The Warrior's Creed. I think a lot of people cite Jocko for his book. That's a great book. You know, everything it says in that book is, you know, it's pretty solid. It's legit stuff. So if you're a newly promoted leader or you're looking to move into a leadership position or you want to lead yourself now, I think that's the book to go get, Jocko's book. But The Warrior's Creed, they kind of validated some things I already had in my head, you know, in regards to, I don't know, life or, you know, struggling in life, whatever. But Roger Sparks is, he's retired.
Is that the author?
Yeah. Okay. Roger Sparks. Okay. It's Warrior's Creed. And he's a tall guy. That's when I saw the pictures at the back of the book. Like, holy shit. It's like a helicopter. He's a real tall guy, real tall. Yeah. But the book starts off, man, like, I mean, if it was a movie, I'd be like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. You know, it was just talking about his childhood and his kid, you know, and he says, you know, of course he words it way better than I do, but his parents, his dad sold drugs, his biker gang. But the whole shit part was, you know, I think he's like 10 years old and he's in bed, he hears some noise, he gets up, and his dad has a nightstick, or, you know, baton in his hand and goes, hey, go back to bed. You know, yes, sir. You know, right. He goes to the door and he's already assuming someone's in his garage, you know, looking for drugs to steal from his dad. Well, dad catches him and I think he drags him back in the house and just beats that guy all night long. And he described it as uncontrolled violence. So he's here in the hallway outside his door. His dad beat this other man with a nightstick. and then he cracks the door open, takes a look, and the way he described it is like, just whap, whap. Go back to bed. I'm handling this. And he shuts the door and goes back to bed, and he said he couldn't sleep that night. He was just hearing the guy, screaming, pass out, and he'd wake up again, and Dad would start all over again. Wow. And then whisper to him like, "Hey, you're gonna remember this. You and all your friends are gonna pay for coming into this house." Mm-hmm. So that set the tone for his childhood. So you grew up in that environment. It's a lot of mental stuff going on in your head. Rough neighborhood, rough life. So then fast forward, he joins the Marine Corps, and he joins the Marine Corps' Special Forces. I think that's called MARSOC. So he goes through that and makes it. But what my opinion was, for a long time was like people who have suffered in life, whether physically or mentally. So let's say you take a poor kid, joins the military, didn't have, welfare food and Spam. I freaking hate Spam. Powdered milk, all that good crap. You join the military, and the guy next to you is bitching and moaning about, the drill sergeant screaming. And you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Oh, I hated it. It was a bad idea. Bro, they're going to give us 3 meals today. They gave me a new pair of boots. Right. So that kid, he had a hard life. So when he gets to where he's at now, it's a cakewalk, man. Because no one's trying to, his parents ain't beating him. He's got clothes now and, some awesome chow. And he gets paid to do PT. What else could you ask for? So because of his suffering, the military is easy.
Just that perspective.
Yeah. You know what anguish is,
Right.
So that's why you get a military guy or a guy who's, played football for a very long time. So they do 2-a-days in the summertime and, you got all your gear, make coach pissed off again, and you get some more laps, And so like the worst day of that, fast forward, you're a little older now, you got to mow the grass. But it's 102 outside. I want to wait for it to get dark. Like, no, that's not hard, man. You don't know what hard is.
Right.
But the guy was doing 2-a-days, in the summertime, man, he'll go out there with, a raincoat on, sweat it out some more. So he knows what physical suffering is.
Right.
On the mental aspect, though, same thing happens, You don't know what hard is up here, so you fracture easily. Your Wi-Fi goes out. Oh, my God. No Wi-Fi.
Right.
Where you take somebody who's like, Wi-Fi, gives a fuck about Wi-Fi.
Right.
So Roger Sparks, like that was his growing up. And he just kicked ass in the military. And then he gets injured a lot, So he makes a lot of comebacks. I just love the book.
Okay. Warrior Street.
He did some weird stuff in regards to working out. And some of it was just on his own. And he met there was a student. He became an instructor for the Special Forces, Marine Corps, I think it's MARSOC again. And he meets this guy who's like a ninja. He's doing handstands on one hand and, backflips in the middle of the night. And they started kind of working out together. And then in passing, he goes, "Hey, have you ever read Hagakure?" And he goes, "No." So he gives him his copy, and he read that book. And literally everything that was in that book was everything he had already been doing. Like his viewpoints in life were already doctrine in another era.
Wow.
So that just like,
what was the
everything I've been doing, the Hagakure.
You have to spell that. I can't.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy to spell anything.
Okay.
Hagakure, it's the book of the samurai.
Okay.
So it was written a very long time ago.
Right. I'm just writing that down. Okay.
But a simple one with the Hagakure is the samurai wakes up every morning knowing they're already dead. You're like, well, that's horrible. I go, well, what stops you from doing a lot of things in life? Fear of getting injured or killed, right? Just go skydiving. Are you crazy? I could die. But if you release yourself from that fear of death, not saying you got a death wish or trying to intentionally get yourself killed, but imagine being in a high stress environment where you're froze,
right,
physically and psychologically. Why? You're afraid of dying.
Right.
But if you let that go, what stops you now?
No, absolutely.
So that's what allowed them to free their minds and do things that other warriors could not.
No, I love that. And that's one of the, I forget, it's like episode 2 or 3 of the Band of Brothers documentary. They have that same lesson about when the guy freezes in combat. He's like, could you think you're still alive? You know, just accept
Yeah,
that you're already
yeah,
dead and you'll be able to function.
exactly.
Love it. Now, I have a
Wait,
thing.
just in regards to, you're already dead. Another great documentary is Finding Patty Brown.
Okay.
He was the most decorated FDNY officer.
Patty Brown, Truck 3.
Up until 9/11. And it's his whole bio from his childhood up until the time of his death. Everybody views movies or reads a book and takes different things away from it. But as we're watching it, I told one of the guys, like, man, I think he's already up to that point where he's lost that fear. That's what allowed him to make so many saves and all those dangerous situations where he always came out with the win because he freed himself from that.
Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know he had a documentary. I love that. There. Hey, Adam Lopez actually spelled it for us. Hagakure by Yamamoto Tsunetomo. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my pronunciation. There you go. Dude, I love it. Good stuff, man. I'm going to go. I might watch that documentary this evening then. That's how big a fan I am. We have a thing we do on the weekly scrap that is called the 5 questions for firefighters. So the answers are 100% your opinion. There are no right or wrong answers technically. And the points are completely arbitrary and they're assigned by me. So, David Hinojosa, are you ready for the 5 questions for firefighters?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Question 1. What is the number one issue facing the modern fire service?
So it's, in my opinion, it's hard to answer that question because I don't work for the fire service. That makes sense, I work for 2 agencies, so my viewpoints are just, for my own little small world. But I'd say training. I think it was a shirt on Facebook somewhere. I don't know where the event was at, but I was like, man, I want that shirt and sticker. It said, make training great again.
Yeah.
Where a lot of times trainings always seem like hey, we're going to go drill. Oh man, like bitching and moaning, but when you get to that May Day,
oh yeah,
you kind of earned it, bro. You kind of earned it. So one time I told somebody, it's kind of a fucked up thing to tell somebody, but I was, hey man, I want you to enjoy your May Day. I'm like, what? Yeah, because you don't want to go outside and, get your hands dirty. So when it happens, just soak in it for a little bit before you start screaming. Because you won't have the skill set to get out or see it coming because you're on the couch all damn day.
How did he respond to that?
I mean, what could you say?
Right. No,
it's just awkward silence, and then outside I went.
Fair enough. Great answer, man. I cannot argue with it whatsoever. John Naninga said, "Oh, this will be great. These 5." Eddie Steele said, "Damn, Dave." Okay. And then Eddie Steele also said he cried after that documentary. I'm watching Finding Patty Brown as soon as the scrap is over. Question number 2. Great answer on number 1. I can't argue with you whatsoever. It's probably my answer to that question. Just not as well said as yours. What is the thing you are most excited about for the future of firefighting?
I think the advances of technology are, in my opinion, always, what I like is like the equipment that makes what I call a force multiplier. So force multiplier would be like one piece of equipment or one team or one person that increases your combat effectiveness just by bringing that on board. For example, prior to ticks, you're pretty much wandering in the dark trying to find fire and victims. Once a tick got introduced, and that was like the equivalent of, a soldier having the first night vision goggles ever.
Right.
Like their combat effectiveness just went up big time with that small piece of equipment. So the future of that, though, it's always been pretty exciting, I think.
No, absolutely, man. And like you said, the personal, like about 20 years ago, roughly, the ticks kind of came online, maybe a little bit earlier now, 25. But and they were big and giant and bulky, and now we're getting like little credit card sized ticks that you're just like pulling up and looking.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, the advances, and who knows where it's going to be, when we're retiring. What they're going to have.
Yeah,
it's exciting times.
I used to just joke around, like, hey, where'd you go to fire school at? I did it online. But I was a total gag though, just kidding. And then fast forward now, like, yeah, you can go to fire school anywhere online. And the other joke was, one day that robot's doing this. And
literally,
you go to YouTube and like, holy shit. Did that guy do my debit day? Robot.
Yeah. My son is 20. He's in a lot of processes here in the Oklahoma City metro area, trying to get on the job, and very dedicated to it. But he signed up for a fire academy last March, right when the pandemic hit, and they basically had to transition the whole thing to online with like a couple days of live. And I'm like, how can you even say that you learned anything? You know?
You don't.
Yeah.
So they're if you're paying them, that's their income,
Right.
their business. So if they actually would fail everybody that did not meet the standard, when you go looking for a school, like, hey, don't go to that school.
No doubt.
They have a high failure rate.
Complete wrong
So people
motivator.
don't go.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're motivated by the funds they generate from literally pencil whipping everybody's
Passing
skills
people
and
through.
passing them that should not be. Or, like for the pandemic thing, yeah, oh yeah, man, you guys are good to go. All skills completed.
And that's what's so scary about firefighter 1, firefighter 2 being required. Hazmat ops, hazmat awareness, whatever. These are required so you can apply. Then you come in, and if you don't have a good training division to make sure those skills are on point, man, it's a bad chain of events.
If somewhere in that institution though, someone is like, let's say there's one person who goes, hey boss, this is bad. We're killing guys down the line. In reality, we should stop. Somewhere from that point forward, there's somebody going, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep pencil whipping.
You're right.
Like I don't see how they can, be okay with that decision, knowing, they sat there just thought about it real quick. This guy can't pull a cross leg or can't force doors. He'll probably be okay.
He'll probably be okay. Why? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you
go to bed at night? Yeah.
And how are you okay with it? I guess paid day. He's like, oh yeah, what guy? Don't worry about it no more.
Well, just self-deception is a bitch. Best rank or position to have in the fire service?
For me, my personal opinion, oh man, I'd say driver. And maybe just for me though, for what I do, because if we're first in, man, I'm pulling hose, throwing ladders. If it's multiple, hey, grab my gear. I can be everywhere.
Right on.
Captain's not there. I'm right captain for the day. So I get to put my hands in all the cookie jars.
I will say,
not just one.
I love the answer. I will say that you're the exception to most apparatus operator, engineer, chauffeurs. Most of them are like glued to their pump panel. And I'm not,
No.
But you sound like a very proactive chauffeur.
And again, in the military, if you just, you're whatever situation you want, pick a movie. There's always that one guy that's like gonna go make things happen, gonna go do it, and if that guy doesn't do it, then who? So regardless of the incident, if it's EMS call, MVA, fire, elevator rescue, you name it. My self question to me is, what am I doing? What can I do to make this better? And then go.
Nice.
And I've yet to have somebody, hey, come here, you. How dare you go 3 blocks around the neighborhood and put your apparatus where the first in truck should have been. Like, no, they're like, hey man, fucking glad you did what you did, because otherwise this would have been bad.
Right on.
So it's simple, simple question. What am I doing? What can I do to make this better? And then, or another one, say, hey, what if this is my house or my family inside there? What would I want done right now? And then go do that.
Love it.
And if that's your motive, save your family, I'm pretty sure your decision is not going to be a bad one.
Dude, I love that, man. Best advice you have ever received?
Man. Thinking. Just lead by example. And that was early in the military career. Lead by example. So, you get a senior guy, hey, we're going to show you how to throw ladders. And you just, hey, you're doing it wrong. No, do it again. You're doing it wrong. Well, that guy's not leading by example. Hey, man, I'm sure I throw ladders. I throw the ladder first. Any questions? And they do, yeah. Well, I'll throw it again.
Love it.
I try to go freeze frame, literally step by step. Hey, look where my elbows at, look where my feet are at, walking into play by play as we're watching the video and pausing it. But no, it's me. I'm doing what I expect them to do, leading by example.
I love that, dude. And I'll tell you this, and it's one thing I very, very, very much try to stick to, which is, I don't know, it was someone early on in the scraps that actually said this to me before I made battalion chief, in fact. And they said that no one on the training ground is allowed to scream or yell unless they're in full gear and PPE that the students are in, right? And I was like, man, I am never not going to be in gear that they're in, and it stuck with me. I don't know who said it, so if someone remembers which scrap it was and I can attribute the right person. But anyway, that's it, man.
That serves two factors, though, not just leading by example, but if, this guy's going, hey, sir, I'm hot.
Right.
You're like, hey, get out of my face, man. Go run towers. Well, yeah, you're in shorts or, whatever, nice day uniform you got on, or he's bunked out last 15 minutes. But if he's bunked out and I'm bunked out too, and he goes, hey, sir, I'm hot. All right, let's get down. I'm like, oh, fucking thank God you said something. Yeah.
Right on. I love it. Okay, final question. And I love lead by example. Dude, you have great answers. The number 5 is heavy fire searchable space. Would you rather be assigned to the nozzle or first in on VES?
I think you should add a picture to this question.
Okay.
No, not for me, but future is like, hey, here's a picture, boom. Which one are you gonna pick now?
Right.
That, there's a lot of variables in it. I hate the it's situational. Now it's not situational. It's fire's fire no matter where you go in the universe. It's physics. We all use the same building materials. Wood, bricks, steel. So they all burn the same. But there's variables in what we do. What you see when you go on location. So based on those variables, which one I would rather be assigned, that would heavily influence my answer. But just right now, just from the get-go, that's it, nozzle.
Fair. Want the knob. 100%. I like it. No, and I get that because one time I asked this question, you're number 99, so there's been roughly 99 times these questions have been thrown at people. I don't think they were there around. Originally, there was just the one question. But anyway, not the point. I've asked this question a lot. And one time someone on Twitter sent me a picture of a rocking house fire, you know what I'm saying? And then there's like a couple black windows like on Charlie, or on the Delta Charlie corner. And it's like, and the caption on Twitter was, hey, because I always say I want VES, that's my answer. Mm-hmm. And I want to go make the grab. But he said, hey, what's your answer on this one? And it was a picture. And I was like, damn, that one looks like a lot of fun to have the nozzle on because there was just so much good fire, And
see,
so,
but if the nozzle guys, squared away, I'm talking like pretty goddamn good. He may get to that room before you do.
No doubt, man. He can make some searchable space. I mean, he can create and maintain survivable space, to quote one of my mentors, Chief Ike. So I love it, man. There it is, the 5 questions for firefighters, according to David Hinojosa. Brother, that's scrap number 99 in the books. What do you think?
That was cool, man. Real some beer would have made it even better, but I got to drive home now, so.
That's fair. I did have my ultras going on. I've been very good. I have not had a Modelo, I want to say, in like 6 months, but I am down 15 pounds, so I'm very proud of that journey. The best place to reach you, contact you, get more information about your toolbox or any questions people have?
Social media and Facebook. Shoot me a message on Messenger, and I'll get back to you whenever I have the opportunity. My time is real precious, and everybody in general, time is the most precious commodity you have. You just don't know it. One day, Bill Gates and the Saudi prince of Egypt will all be there on their deathbeds begging for more time. And neither one of them will be able to buy any of it. So when I have, free time, I'm going to be very precise to where I commit it. So a day off, man, it's just the kids. Here at work, every moment is going towards something, towards work, I'm not going to waste time watching TV all day or, playing tap on my phone. Because you were to tally all that up, over the course of your life, you probably wasted 5 years,
At least, man.
So
Dude, you're not kidding.
You're like, man, if I could only have more in time, I could tell everybody, everybody you loved or whatever you want to tell them that you didn't get the opportunity to, and you would do anything to get those 5 years back.
Right on, man.
But you wasted it on, whatever bubble popping game you got on your phone or
whatever candy popping, fruit slashing,
whatever.
Insert, yes.
Whatever's the biggest thing right now, though. So, use your time wisely, because once that's gone, you don't get no more.
Dude, I appreciate you giving me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
24 hours, man. 24 hours on the job for a shift for us, so come to work with the mission, plan for the day, and get things accomplished, within your 24 hours. Be at work, do work. Don't come there with the intent of man, I hope I get to sleep all day. Because it's not what we're here for. Should be at the highest state of readiness just like the nation's military. They're here to defend our freedoms, and we're here to defend the community, literally right down the street from the station.
Love it. And you guys heard it here first. David Hinojosa is going to write the Samurai's Guide to Firefighting. It's going to be a PowerPoint that you can download, and he's going to share it.
It's actually a book.
Huh? It's going to be a book.
No, that there is a book. I think it was it is the fire Samurai's Path of Firefighting.
Oh, really?
It's a small book. Yeah, you look it up on Amazon, you find it.
Okay, I'll find it. All right. Well, still, I'm just trying to pin you down on one. So, all right. I'd like to go over a coin that's been thrown at me, and this came in the mail. It is from Berea Fire Department in Kentucky. It's a beautiful coin. They got on the one side their ISO rating that they achieved, and on the flip side, they've got their stylization of their. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. Of their station, city hall / police department, along with Daniel Boone out front because he was huge in crossing that Cumberland Gap and founding Kentucky. So a lot of symbolism on the coin. Very beautiful. Thank you for sending it in. It was from Jordan Bernard of the Berea Fire Department. So it's going to go into the collection. The collection is growing. You guys can see it happening live, every scrap. So other than that, I got to say, I got more Richardsons in, so these all sold out like the first day they went on. So if you want a Firehouse Vigilance hat, you can find them at firehousevigilance.com. The Richardson 112s, I only do the Richardsons because I'm a hat snob. And so anyway, but beyond that, weekly scrap 90. This is the last double digit. You are officially the last double digit weekly scrap, brother. You got to be number 99. So
cool deal.
Next week. In fact, it's only a few days away. And this is the crazy part. We had to move this scrap from yesterday because of the wedding. I didn't even go to the wedding because my wife is sick. And so I got out of the wedding, which is awesome. But I didn't have to move.
And you got out of trouble.
Right. So both ways worked out good. But
double win.
3 days from now or 4 days from now, 3 days from now on Tuesday, episode number 100, Chief Ike, he is coming on. Isaacson is coming on. He's going to be talking about people before water. And it's going to be an awesome time. So make sure to be here. It is the celebration of us making it to weekly scrap number 100. And I hope you guys will tune in. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, David, for giving me your evening and sharing your stories, your wisdom, and your knowledge and your mistakes. And I appreciate you. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Had a good time.
Everybody else, I hope the tone stays silent unless it's burning. Stay safe out there.